Let's get it.
Soundstripe.
Don't be afraid to dance. Get up and move. It'll make you feel better, I guarantee it.
Soundstripe. Soundstripe.
All right, people. Welcome. What episode is this now, Wes? What episode is this now?
Number 3.
Number 3. You know what they say? 3 times a charm. Yes.
Yep.
Welcome to episode 3 of Real Talk with Coach Q and
brokerwes.
All right. So, give you a quick introduction. My name is Qierre McGlory, aka Coach Q. I coach real estate agents. I help them better themselves to build successful real estate careers, all that good stuff. And I'm also a realtor. And I also inspire others through motivation, leadership training, all that good stuff. And Mr. Wes.
And I am Wes Oliver. You can call me Broker Wes, and I am a mortgage broker. Been in the industry for a little over a decade, and I help people finance their properties and figure out the best strategies to kind of fit in their overall financial picture. And I love coaching people as well.
All right, perfect. So, success secrets. So I want to share something I learned from my mentor that we were talking about this morning, John Maxwell. And he was talking about being a forever learner. Now, keep in mind, John Maxwell's about 74 now. And
wow.
Yet he still wakes up each and every day inspired to learn and grow. And I truly feel that is one of the reasons why people live such a long life is because people still desire to learn and grow themselves. So if you're out there, be a forever learner. Don't stop learning. Continue to grow. Because as you continue to learn and grow, you start to experience other things in your life. And as you're starting to do that, people start to look at you, right? It's like, well, look at this person. They're learning how to play a guitar. They're learning how to speak another language. They're learning how to do math. Like whatever you're doing and whatever you're interested in, definitely take the opportunity to learn because life is short, right? So really take the opportunity to learn and grow and better yourself each and every day.
Yep, totally agree. I'm somebody who firmly believes, and I think science actually proves it in some cases. If you don't use it, you lose it, right? So you want to, as you grow older, keep your mind fresh, keep it educated, keep it thinking. And you also want to try to learn new skills and everything, because that's the exciting part of life is, stretching yourself and seeing what else you can pick up and what else you can learn. And you'll never have all the answers. You'll never have all the answers. So there's always something new to learn and someone new to learn from.
Absolutely. And what I've heard also with life, it's a never ending journey. You know what I mean? You're never going to get to the finish line. It's always a never ending journey.
Right. Right. Like I said, you can't learn everything. You can't know everything. All you can do is just keep learning. And the cool part is, what's different from school, because, it seems like everybody, well, a lot of people, have problems with school and whatnot, especially when you're younger. The thing about school is that people are telling you what you have to learn.
Right.
People are guiding and controlling what you learn, what books you read and all that. You get to learn what you want to learn. That's cool. I used to think for the longest time I didn't like to read. Then I realized I just didn't like to read what people wanted me to read. Some of the books that are classics or whatever that they make you read in school, for me, they're just not that interesting, and they just weren't that, they weren't that exciting. They didn't hold my attention. But if it's something I want to read, something that interests me, man, I'll burn through that book.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I'm definitely the same way. Like, I mean, when I was younger, I definitely didn't really like to read. And like you said, it was probably because all the things that we were required to read wasn't things I was interested in.
Right.
And I think really like probably like my second, third year of college. I think that's when I really started to appreciate reading,
Hmm.
outside of other things and really taking the opportunity to read, and since then I've definitely been an avid reader. I try to read at least one book a month. I do multiple audiobooks a month. Right now I'm probably doing, at least two audiobooks and actually reading a hard book right now. For me, it's just all about learning and growing. Not to mention, my daughter sees what I'm doing, and
Hmm.
we always make sure to read to her, usually on a daily basis. So I definitely want to have her enjoy reading as much as Papa does.
Yeah, it's funny because when you talk about like a lot of the dystopian future novels and whatnot, like a Fahrenheit 451 or 1984, one of the recurring themes you find in books like that in the future and whatnot, where there's like a dictatorship or totalitarianism and whatnot,
Oh yeah,
they don't want you to read. They either got rid of all the books or you're not allowed to read. It's illegal to read. So there's a reason for that. You know what I mean? There's a reason that they're kind of putting that in the book, and that's an important factor. Um, and that's why you need to take advantage of it and appreciate it. Get knowledge, attain knowledge, and
yeah,
use it.
absolutely.
You know.
Yeah, that's that's very true. And it's funny you say that because as I'm thinking about that, yeah, they're always burning books. You know what I mean? They're always burning books. They're always outlining books. And obviously, when you read, it evokes the thought
Hmm.
process, right? So what they don't want people to think independently, right? Because as you
Bingo.
start to read, you start to incorporate your own thoughts. And obviously that would be going against, their system. You know what I mean? They want everyone to be
Right.
plugged in and doing the same thing. So that's a really good point.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So like I
Yeah.
said, take advantage.
Take advantage. Absolutely. Absolutely. So leads us to our next subject, hot topic. Wes, state of the American dream. Is home ownership still the American dream?
Yeah, and that's an interesting question. And the reason I was thinking about that question is because I was watching one of the news shows that I watch on YouTube frequently, and they were talking about the state of the current real estate market. And that how you have like a lot of venture capitalists, a lot of private investors or large investment companies buying property and competing with the everyday average home buyer or would be home buyer. And I can remember like companies like Blackstone, for instance. So they have a decided advantage when going up against just the average person who wants to buy a home, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they're paying most of the time all cash. So they definitely do have an advantage for sure.
Yeah, paying all cash, which means they can waive their contingencies if they want. So appraisals, uh, they don't have loan contingencies. So when you think about that, or one of the concerns that they were expressing in this particular conversation are the is the average home buyer going to get frustrated by that? Because you already know how it happens once we get in a situation where the market is really competitive and home buyers keep submitting offers and keep submitting offers and their offers are not getting accepted, they get discouraged, right?
Mhm.
Because as I always point out to people, buying a home is an emotional process. And every time you submit an offer, you are emotionally invested in that home. You're already thinking about what it's going to be like to live in the house, what things you want to upgrade on the house, you know, how do you want to decorate the house, what it's going to be like for your kids to go to the school in that neighborhood. So you're already heavily emotionally invested. And when you keep going through that over and over, experiencing that heartache, essentially, do you get frustrated? So as they were having this conversation, I was thinking, well, where do we go from here? Because we don't want to lose the American dream,
Right.
right? You don't want
Absolutely.
the average person to lose that. It reminds me of It's a Wonderful Life, and you got the Potter guy, and he's the one, the greedy one, and he doesn't like the fact that George Bailey is helping the average people in the city buy homes and whatnot. And his advisor said, well, you better make sure these people can have a good home because they're the ones that do most of the working, living, and dying in this city. right? So same thing, you know what I mean? The majority of the vast majority of people that make America work, they're working toward that American dream, and we don't want to lose that, you know, because then what do they do? What are they striving for? What are they working for at that point? So I don't know. It's a tough question, like because obviously, you know, we live in a capitalistic society, so you
Mhm.
can't stop those larger companies from buying these properties or whatever. But is that what's best? Is there a workaround, or I mean, you know, how do we really deal with that and make sure that, like I said, people eventually don't give up on the American dream portion
Right.
and having a home and owning a home, you know? And there's more to owning a home than just having a roof over your head and having that pride. You know, they've done several studies that show that you're more involved in your community when you own a home. That's a very good thing. Your children
Very good
your
thing.
children
Yeah,
benefit from
kids
it.
agree.
Yeah, your children benefit from it. Children tend to be, you know, more stable. They tend to do better in school because they
Mhm.
have, you know, stability, and they have the stability of the community. You know, because
Right.
my parents are still, you know, my father still lives in the house that I grew up in, and I'm still friends with a lot of the people I grew up in that neighborhood with. You know, so those are all important things, and those are all great factors that come from owning a home. And not only that, but how the local community benefits from that,
Right. Exactly.
you know, and all the business that's generated from it and whatnot. So we definitely don't want to lose that. We don't want to give up on that. But where do we go from here? I mean, what's the right answer?
Yeah. I mean, that's a very good question. I mean, for me, I mean, when it comes to these, these big conglomerates, coming in and purchasing up, these available properties, or mostly these properties usually run down, you know what I mean? Seeing more affordable housing, to be something, as opposed to seeing a lot of these, high rise or these luxury living, apartments.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because the thing is, you'll never own an apartment. You know what I mean? You'll
Right,
never own an apartment. You'll never build equity with an apartment. You're never really able to build wealth, with an apartment, right?
right,
So, when these companies come in, maybe there can be some type of incentive that the government could provide, like, hey, if you build affordable housing, this is what we'll do, or whatever. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'm just speaking
sure, sure,
as an option, but I definitely want to see more affordable housing for sure. Like, I mean, I don't want to continue to see these high rise luxury apartments. You know what I mean? Because a lot of these apartments, I know, for instance, like apartments in downtown Anaheim, a lot of them start at like one bedroom for like over 3,000.
right,
You know what I mean? And we just helped one of our clients get a 3 bedroom, 2.5 bath condo, and their mortgage is like a little over 3,000, right? And this is something
hmm,
that they actually own, right? As
right.
opposed to paying rent on. So I definitely, feel that, with these companies coming in, definitely building more affordable housing, and maybe the government or something could provide some type of subsidy or something, or some type of incentive to have them do that, because
Right.
that's what I think we need to invest more in, and that's what's going to really have, that American dream. So that's what we need.
Yeah, and lastly, I'll say this. Hopefully, I mean, I understand as a home seller,
Hmm.
um, that you want to obviously get the best available offer for you. But maybe also we could take it upon ourselves as someone who's selling a home to kind of think more about that as well, as far as like
Right.
be more deliberate in who you're selling your home to, you know, and wanting to maybe help that first time home buyer, you know, or help that family that's trying to upgrade or whatever, as opposed to selling it to, you know, rental company Inc. who's going to buy your home and they just turn it into a rental, you know,
Hmm.
maybe that is also part of it. And I know we have a topic coming up here in a little bit, you know, regarding offers and whatnot to kind of help make you a better offer when you're going up against those big wigs.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Yes, absolutely. Well, since you already started talking about it, let's get into it. So tell me, who wants to know how to get your offers accepted in this hot sellers market? Come on, tell me, how many people want to hear about that? Yes, yes. Well, it really comes down to, for me, it really comes down to three things, right? Having a strong pre-approval, a strong direct underwritten letter, and also, and part of that strong is also having a strong lender, right? Like, I mean, that's part of it. So that's number one for me, right? Number two, is really having strong negotiation skills. And when I say that, I'm talking about the agent that you choose to hire, is to make sure they have a strong negotiation skills. Now, for me, prior to getting into real estate, I was a negotiator for a law firm for several years. So my profession was negotiating on behalf of my clients, as well as I am a certified negotiation expert through the Real Estate Institute, right? So I took an extra studies to actually become a negotiator, and that's been able to help my clients get their offers accepted, in this strong, seller's market. And then
Right.
number three, the listing price strategy, right? Now, me and Wes both never ever want to put our clients in a situation where, for instance, I know some of these clients are waiving their appraisal contingencies, right?
Mhm.
Like, we never want to put our clients in a situation where we waive the appraisal contingency and have them pay a price that they can't afford, or they don't have the funds to cover it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, hey, if the house, if we remove our appraisal contingency and the house doesn't appraise at that amount, we can't pay it, right? We would never put our clients in that type of situation, right? Because our first and foremost, we always do what's best for our clients. We would never want to put them in a
Right.
situation. So that's is what I believe are the top three ways of getting your offers accepted in a hot seller's market. Now I'm going to pass it off to Wes and see if he shares some information about that.
Yeah, so let's clarify really quick because you said we don't want to put our clients in a position where they have to pay and they can't afford it. So let's talk about what that means. So here's what that means for those sitting in the back. So if you submit an offer on a property, say listed at 500,000, and you waive your appraisal contingency, if the appraised value comes in at 490,000, then that means you're going to have to come up with an additional $10,000 out of your pocket. The reason being is because the lender is not going to lend you enough money on a property that's going to have negative equity. So if your property is only going to be worth 490,000, the lender is only going to loan you 490,000. So if you come up short, you have to cover that. Unless, and here's the one caveat, and this is mostly for people that are putting down, the minimum down payment. Because if you're only putting down 5%, then yeah, you're going to have to cover that. Now, if you're putting down 20%, you don't have to bring any more money to the transaction. But what it does mean is that now you're no longer putting down 20%, and now you're going to have PMI. So that's something that you want to be aware of when you're dealing with that. But the other thing as well, and you're 100% right on, your team, your lender, your realtor, the negotiating, and all that. And basically, you want to be prepared ahead of time. And this is why you want to make sure your lender and your realtor has all the ducks in a row up front, because usually when you submit an offer, they're going to request some items. Usually, sometimes you have to go through a cross qualification, which means that you have to deal with the listing agent's lender, and they're going to ask for specific documents to review the strength of your offer. And that's why you want to make sure that you go through pre-approval first, so that you have all of those items ready to go and you're not fumbling trying to get them together. And I know I've done cross qualifications for you, Qierre, where you've had 4 or 5 offers submitted, but 2 or 3 of them couldn't get their documents together, or they were taking a while to get them together and
Right.
whatnot. So the best thing you can do is show that you're a strong buyer by being prepared, and then also, as we were talking before about, selling the home to an investor versus selling it to a first family, whatever. And I think anything you can do to add, a personal touch about yourself, and obviously have your realtor represent you in a personal way, tell your story, share that with the listing agent, so that they can share that with their sellers. Because I do think that matters for some people, because people are sentimental about their homes, and how long they live there, and what it means to have that home. And So they want to think about the next family, you know, having that home the way they had it with their
Right.
family, and not, like I said, just some random investor buying it up, and a different family living there every year or something like that. So those are all important keys. But like I said, the most important thing is preparation ahead of time, making sure you go through that pre-approval process, making sure your realtor and your lender are working together so everybody understands what the parameters are, what we're trying to accomplish, and how quickly we can accomplish it. Because as well as I do, care, you go in there thinking it's going to be a 30-day escrow, then you get counted at 21 days. Well, can your lender close it in 21 days? I don't know, but you better find out.
Yeah, that could be awkward. Yeah, that could definitely be awkward. I've seen that happen before. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing. The best thing you can do to make yourself a sparkling buyer is have your stuff together, and have the right team that is also professional and has their act together.
Give it up for Wes. Way to close out that topic. That was very strong, man. That was very strong. Now, we come into one of my favorite portions of Real Talk with Coach Q and Broker Wes, which is the West Files.
What? Okay. So this week's topic of conversation, the best advice I can give anyone is to be able to find the right person to take advice from, and most importantly, allow yourself to take the advice. Okay.
I like that.
And obviously, we want, and when I say we, I'm saying like people in our industry, the realtor, me, the loan officer, we want you to have input on what's going on and how it's happening. We want you to be part of the process. We want you to be part of the decision making process. But there comes a time when we know a little more than you do, and you have to allow us to protect you from yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because as I said before earlier, buying a home and dealing with financing, things like that, they are emotional processes,
Right.
right? And so what you need is someone that can make logical decisions when you're not prepared to make logical decisions. So I'm thinking about, in particular, I was assisting one of my clients with the refinance. And because I do refinances often, I already have, like, title and escrow. That's an important part of the process. So I already have title and escrow companies that I work with. And I've found the best possible deal. So the best pricing, but not only
Tell
just the
us
best
more.
pricing,
Tell us more.
right? Not just the best pricing, but the best service as well. So this particular client asked me to use the escrow person that they worked with before, because they wanted to save money, and they said they had a good experience with them. I said, okay, no problem. Now, this escrow person they used helped them buy a house, not refinance a house. So anyway, I complied. I allowed them to do that. And I'll just tell you that the people that I normally work with, they were cheaper and a lot more professional and a lot faster. But I didn't make the client feel bad or anything like that. I did what they asked me to do. But the point is, I have to deal with this situation a lot more, and I'm better equipped to kind of know what to look for and what, challenges or issues.
Mm.
So I would just say, like I said, no matter what you're doing, if you're listing the house, if you're buying a house, if you're refinancing a house, you know, you hire people, you hire professionals for a reason. Use them as a resource and allow their experience to work for you.
Like it. Like it. Like it. Like it. Awesome. Awesome. So give it up. So people that like to work with professionals. Yes, we like to work with professionals. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you, Wes, for sharing that information. Absolutely. It's always great to work with professionals. And the thing is, your professionals do this on a day-to-day basis, which means it gives us the opportunity to develop great relationships, with people and a great reputation. Because I know, when I get to work with Wes and I get to work with title and I get to work with escrow and I get to work with a home inspector and pest inspection and all the people that are in our network, we typically have better experiences for everyone around, not just ourselves, but also for the buyers and the sellers. Typically, we all have great experiences. So definitely consult with your professional, when it comes to things like referring a lender, referring escrow, referring pest inspection, title, and so forth. So yeah, thank you for that, Wes. West Files, people, West
Right.
Files, West Files. All right. So every week we always want to highlight a city. Why? Because that's what we do, right? We want our clients to know, we want you to know as well, what cities are offering. So obviously right now we're sticking with Orange County. So first week we did Anaheim, second week we did Anaheim Hills. This week we are doing the city of Brea. Yay! So give it up for Brea. Give it up for Brea.
Yep.
Yes. So a tidbit about Brea. One of the things you may not know, Brea happens to be one of the only cities that has a public art school, right? And this has actually been going on since 1975. And there's actually over 120 art pieces all throughout the city of Brea on display. So, if you ever want to learn how to do some art, go to Brea because they actually have a public school. But Brea also offers, other things. They have, multiple parks, multiple movie theaters, great downtown Brea area. I mean, my wife and I used to go to Cha Cha's all the time. That was our thing. And also, I know Wes and his wife are big Brea improv fans, just like we
Yep.
are. You know what I mean? So we always go to the Brea Improv, and definitely looking forward to that opening up soon, so we can go and get some laughs.
Yeah.
So then, Wes, what else do you want to bring up? Anything else about Brea?
Yeah, so I was looking at the Brea attractions. I found some interesting things I didn't even know. So they have an art gallery, showcase museum. Didn't know that. They do concerts in the park, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
They also do family film festivals in the park. That's also something pretty cool. Um, they have the Curtis Theater, so you can go watch plays and things like that. So they have a theater. This is the one that I found most interesting, and I'm probably going to check this out now that I know about it. They actually have a Brea Jazz Festival concert series every year. And I love
Okay.
live jazz. So I'm going to probably go check that out. I didn't know that. They also have a trolley. Didn't know that either. That's pretty cool. And then they have a Brea Fest, which is, some kind of popular family event that they do every year, which is also pretty cool. So, yeah, a lot going on there. It's a city of only like 43,000 people.
Yeah,
So they got a
yeah,
lot going on there.
absolutely, for sure. And I think we've gone to like the Brea Festival before, and we had a really good time. We haven't gone to the Brea Jazz Festival, but we definitely have to try that out for sure.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun. So I'm definitely interested in that one.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely Brea is a great city, great things that you can do there. You know what I mean? And if you have any other questions or interest about Brea, feel free to message us. We love to answer any questions that you have. So awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. So big thing happening this weekend. We have the NFL draft. So let's give it up for the NFL draft happening, right?
You're a little early. It's next weekend.
Damn.
Next
Next
starts
week,
next
in between
Thursday.
time. My bad. My bad. Okay, but we're still gonna talk about it today, right?
Absolutely.
All right,
Absolutely.
perfect. So I'll let you start it off.
Yeah, so we have the draft coming up next Thursday, and I believe it's a 3-day event. So the first day will only be rounds one. That's the big one because that's where all the big money people get drafted. The next day, which will be Friday, I believe, is round 2 and 3, and then Saturday you go rounds 4 through 7. Till finally we get to Mr. Irrelevant, which is kind of a bummer to call someone that, Mr. Irrelevant, and that's the last person that gets drafted. So I always love the draft. It's especially for someone who played football. I love the draft. I love watching the draft because it's kind of cool. I mean, you have to think about it. A lot of these kids have been playing football, since they could walk.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? And it all culminates in that particular moment where they're sitting there in the audience at the draft, or a lot of them, in the later rounds, sitting at home with their families, watching the draft, waiting to get that call, waiting to hear their name called. And it's such a cool thing to see someone's dreams come true right there live on TV, and not just like a recent dream, a dream they've had all their lives. Now, it's also a little hard for me to watch because some people's dreams are going to die on that day too. Because there are going to be some people that are expecting to get drafted that may not get drafted. That's not the end of the story for them, though. They can still, become free agents and, basically try out and all that. And some of them will work out. But yeah, and then of course, I don't know if you do the NFL, the fantasy football. I love doing the fantasy football. So that's what's pretty cool about it. And my Cowboys are drafting number 10 this year. So hopefully we're going to get a great tight end, that kid from Florida. But we'll see.
Nice, man. Nice. So who do you think is going to be going in the first? Who do you think will be picked up first?
Well, I can tell you this: it's probably going to be a quarterback, and it'll probably. Well, I've heard Mac Jones. He was the quarterback at Alabama. Yeah, he was the quarterback at Alabama. Just won a national title. So I hear him. There's a Zach Wilson. He's another quarterback. And then shame on me, I can't remember his name. He was the quarterback at Ohio State. So there's a few different quarterbacks that are expected to go first. I'm not really paying attention to the first because we don't get to pick first, man. The Cowboys picked 10.
Well, I mean, hey, that means you did better in the season.
Yeah. Yeah, but we're in what they call mediocre or purgatory. We're in purgatory.
Like right in there. Mm-hmm.
You either want to be like up at the top or down at the bottom. You don't want to be in the middle because, yeah. But we'll see. We'll see how we do.
Yeah, we'll see, man. I mean, hey, the season hasn't started yet. You pick up this great pick. Who knows? It can definitely make your team for sure.
Yeah, definitely. That's as a football fan, that's also the exciting part because you're getting this new player and it's all potential.
That's all you potential.
They haven't disappointed you yet. They haven't disappeared. They haven't gotten hurt. So you're like really excited that day. Well, usually if your team gets somebody that you want, you're pretty excited that day. And yeah, it's all potential. It's all hopeful and everything. It's like Christmas.
Absolutely. And everyone starts out with a perfect score, don't they? They all start out with a perfect record, don't they?
Yeah. Oh, man, how did I mess this up? So Trevor Lawrence, actually, the quarterback from Clemson, he'll probably go number 1. Forgot all about him. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence. Yep. He's the one for sure. Yeah.
And what team would he be going to?
He will be going to the Jaguars.
I was thinking the Jaguars. I'm like, Jaguars. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be going to the Jaguars. Unfortunately,
they have a nice jersey.
Yeah, they have cool jerseys. And hey, I don't have you been to Jacksonville?
No, I haven't.
I have. It's a beautiful city. Yeah, I mean, good weather and all that. Not too far from Miami, and I mean it's a long drive, but you can fly to Miami pretty fast. Helicopter to Miami, I'm sure. So yeah,
I'm not a big long time driver, man. I'm like the worst. Seriously, like I don't even like to drive 2 hours. Like I'm like over it, with 2 hours. So I'm not a good like long distance traveler anymore. I think when I was younger, totally didn't mind it, but as I got older, man, I'm like, just don't have the patience, man. Like, give me the plane ticket. I don't care.
It all depends on the sites to me. I mean, I there's a good. I enjoy driving to Vegas. I'm probably one of the few people who do like driving to Vegas.
Yeah, pass me the flight. I'm cool with sitting on the plane, maybe having an adult beverage or whatever. 50 minutes in, I'm in Vegas. Put me there.
I don't know. It's the whole energy of it, though. Like the excitement of getting on the road, and you got a trip planned, and
yeah,
you're gonna stop in Barstow and then grab a bite to eat. It's a whole production. The outlets usually we would stop at. It's a whole production. Did I ever tell you about my 6-hour flight to Vegas?
No, I did not. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it was a 6 hour. I called it a 6-hour flight for this reason. So we leave John Wayne,
Mhm.
flying out to Vegas. We're in Vegas in about 45 minutes, right? Really
Okay.
windy day. Really windy day. And the pilot brings the plane down a little bit, then he goes back up, and you're feeling this turbulence. So he brings it down again, goes back up. He does that a few times until eventually he just gives up and says like it's too rough down there. And we
Mhm.
got rerouted back to Ontario. Yeah.
Wow.
So I had to rent a car when I was in Ontario and drive the rest of the way. So that was my 6-hour flight to Vegas.
No, that doesn't count as driving. Would you just say right now? Drive the
My
rest of the
6-hour
way,
flight. My
bro.
six
You in
hour flight.
California? That's not driving the rest of the way. It's not like he stopped like like at the state line or something like that. Drive the rest of the way. No, you went backwards and you drove from California to Nevada.
It was great. I tell you, man, it hurt. I'm gonna tell you, it hurt. Because I was right there. I saw it all. It was all beneath me. I had the window
All
seat.
the strips, all everything.
I'm looking at the whole strip, Caesar's Palace, the Luxor, everything. And then it just went away. But I will say this, I had a friend who was on the flight before me that went out there. He said, "Yeah, you're glad you didn't land because the turbulence was so bad. People were up chucking and everything." So I'm like, "Yeah, I'm glad about that."
Oh no.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh jeez. Wow.
Yep. So the
Wow.
pilot
Wow.
did us a solid.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, before I let you guys go, I want to share. So this week, my wife and I registered our daughter for kindergarten. So that was an experience in itself because she's growing. Wes is getting bigger, man. She's gonna be going to
Yeah.
school from like 7:45 to 2:15. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, man. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
It's
talked to
a
my
rough
wife
one.
about that. I'm all like, I don't know, maybe we'll just homeschool or something.
Yeah,
But
it's
she's all
it's a
excited though.
rough
She
one.
wants to like go and hang out with kids or whatever. I'm like, I don't know. Might have to hang around the playground for at least the first month. You know what I mean? Just check them out. You know what I mean? Make sure all those
I
kids are
don't
interacting.
know. That doesn't sound right. I'll have somebody call.
Oh my gosh!
I'll have somebody
No,
call
no, they
security on me.
no. One of my friends said they had like some type of parent program or whatever where you can like volunteer and like you can actually like help at the school one of the days or whatever. So I'm thinking because I do Papa Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking on Tuesdays, maybe I'll volunteer at the school so I can like help with the school and like still keep my eye on my daughter, make sure no boys are trying to talk to her, that kind of stuff. You know what
Well, remember, you got to deal with the other kids too, not just her now. So,
that's you're funny. That's the same thing my friend said. He's like, "Hey man, you're there actually to help the other kids too." I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. Sure, yeah, I'll do that too.
yeah, I'm sure she'll be fine.
Yes,
I'm sure she'll be fine. But hey, look at the fun stuff. You get to help her with homework and stuff. That's the cool stuff.
is it? I don't know, man. I like the homework I help her with right now,
Well,
which is
it's
nothing. No, I'm just kidding. We just dance
no,
all the
it's
time.
fun until it gets to like algebra, and then you're like, man, I don't remember how to do stuff anymore. But
Yeah, let's go to a higher
simple,
tutor.
simple
Absolutely.
multiplication and all that. Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, for sure. She likes to learn. She likes to read. So it should be fun. Absolutely. Not to mention, we are expecting our second. You know what I mean? So having a little boy at home, that's going to be different. For us because obviously we're used to a girl. So that'll be different. My wife keeps being having dreams that she gets peed on.
Well, that's a
Like I don't
gift,
think that
man.
happens that much, does it? For kids, for
Well,
boys?
I'm gonna tell you. I got two little boys myself.
Mhm.
I would tell your wife to get the hazmat suit.
Oh. All right, cool. That man, I'll get that. I'll get
Something
that
about
kid.
that cold air, man. Something about that cold air. You open up that diaper, man. That cold air hits them.
Oh, gee. Oh man. All right, cool. Hazmat suit. Okay, we'll make sure to be all geared up and ready for that one. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. Awesome. Yes. Perfect. Perfect. All right,
Yes. Good
guys.
stuff, man.
Well, yeah. Well, hey, we'll be ready for it. We'll be ready for it. So
Absolutely.
I'm not too worried about it. I'll just make sure that like they have the hazmat suit on. So make sure to do that. Or as we're changing it, make sure you still have like the diaper covering it. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
something.
Oh, by the way, you know, big shout out to Shock G of
Oh yes.
you know of Digital Underground fame. He passed away this week, and there was a player. What's his name? Terrence Clark. He was a he was a freshman this last year at University of Kentucky on the basketball team. Projected to be drafted. Um, got in a car accident, man, out in L.A. 19 years old.
Jeez.
And I'm not trying to bring the mood down, but it's like I said, it's always a good thing to be thankful and live in the moment and just be, you know, just enjoying while you got them and enjoy your time with them and, your family, everybody.
Yeah, I mean that's yeah. I mean that's definitely a great way to look at it. You know what I mean? Because you're not guaranteed another day on this planet, man. So definitely take the opportunity to really experience life. And spend time with your family, with your loved ones, people that you care about, and also spend time with doing things that you do. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
Wes and I decided to do this podcast because we both enjoy talking, apparently.
Yeah.
And also providing value. And we like to hang out with each other, so we're friends. So that also makes this podcast even more fun than doing that. So absolutely. So also, starting next month, at the last Friday of the month, we're actually gonna start having guests on the show. So it's a way
Nice.
for us to promote others and give others opportunities to talk about their business, talk about their life, what they do, and all those good things. Because like I said, we're doing this podcast because number one, we enjoy it. Number one, we're friends. Number one, we like to
Mm-hmm.
talk. We like to educate people, and we like to
Right.
motivate people and encourage people and share value. Right? We want this to be valuable. We also want this to make this fun as well. Right? So that's why I always dance around and do all this funny stuff. You know what I mean? And Wes dances around professionally. Wes has the professional dance. I will say Wes is the professional dance. You know what I mean? Like it's professional. Like like you're like at a business function where you don't want to like get all crazy. It's like look what Wes is doing. Wes keeps it light. Nothing crazy. And then
I'm just
me,
that cool.
I'm doing all that kind of stuff. But Wes is like,
I'm cool like that. I just make it look cool like that. That's all.
yes, Mr. Cool West, man,
Yeah,
Mr.
but
West.
it'll be a great opportunity for us all to learn from other experts because you're really good at what you do. I'm really good at what I do, but that's all we do. You know what I'm saying? So it's always good to learn from other experts. I love experts. I don't I don't care too much for jack of all trades. I love experts though, and we all get to learn from experts,
Yes,
other
don't be a
experts.
jack of all trades. Don't be a jack of all trades because you're a master of none, and those typically people go broke. So you don't want to be a jack of all trades.
There you go.
Stick to your strengths. Stick to your strengths.
Exactly.
Yes. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us for episode 3 of Real Talk with Coach Qierre.
Broker West.
All right, guys. We will see you later on the next episode. Episode.